Nobody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody in 149th Street at the bench.
Welcome back to the bench, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, we're gonna be breaking down another genius level graffiti artist, and this time we're gonna be taking a look at Mad C. I heard you guys loud and clear, man. You guys. A lot of you guys wanted to see Mad C. And to be honest, I don't mind because this is somebody whose work I've used as an example of a lot of my tutorials. So how can I do this series without actually taking a look at their work? If you have a specific graffiti artist in mind that you'd like to see me analyze, leave it in the comments down below and link their Instagram or whatever it is that'll show their work. That way I can do that video for you. Hopping right into this, Mad C is absolutely a genius level graffiti artist. We're talking about an artist here that has interior details, exterior details that were on the cutting edge back when she started doing these things. Back when she began introducing these concepts and these visual aesthetics to graffiti, nobody was doing stuff like this. And how did she make it work? Well, her knowledge from fine art and her knowledge of color theory certainly helped in order to go ahead and give this aesthetic to her pieces, allowing for her to not really use a traditional outline that you'd see in graffiti, rather using different colors and different interior details and exterior details in order to define letter structures. This is something that most graffiti artists still don't know about and still don't do to this day. And even the ones that do it, oftentimes they don't understand the science behind it. And this is honestly something that's going to ring true for a lot of what she does. Now, in Mad C's work, you may not see the most wild of letters. Her letters oftentimes don't have crazy amounts of letter distortions. But that's not by any means the only way to add style to your piece, which I love. Because many graffiti artists have this idea in their head that you need to distort the letter in all these different ways in order to make it stylistic, and that's not by any means the truth. And Mad C shows us that in her work. Keeping the letters relatively simple, or in their basic or variant structures, she's able to still compact these letters full of style, more so than many people's wild styles. And she does this through letter and name positioning. This letter and name positioning is pretty unorthodox for most graffiti. In many cases, her pieces conform to the actual structure of either the wall or the background elements of her actual mural. And this is a point we'll come back to later. But the real golden ticket about her letter and name positioning is that it allows for momentum flow. Once again, another one of those concepts that most graffiti artists don't even know exists, and most, as a result, don't do it. And the ones who do it oftentimes, once again, don't know the science behind momentum flow. Given that Mad C has a high amount of knowledge as far as actual fine art is concerned, and momentum flow is kind of a standard in fine art, it's kind of just something that you end up learning in fine art, it's no wonder that it seamlessly carries over to her graffiti, and she uses it extremely effectively, building entire letters just out of that one concept. And of course, if you want to build a letter out of momentum flow, you're more than likely going to have to go ahead and mess with letter and name positioning as well, as the momentum would be dictated by the letter's position as well as its structure. Now, what we're about to take a look at is something that she does in a lot of her pieces, so you can literally pull up pretty much any one of her images and you'll see this happen. But she'll position a letter in such a way where it'll take the momentum and swing it from one side all the way to the other side of the piece. Or she'll oftentimes also transition line uniformity and similarity directly into momentum flow, which is another amazing thing for graffiti. Doing this not only once again enhances flow, but it enhances the cohesiveness between your different letters, which oftentimes can actually, if you wanted to go ahead and do this in your own work, it can allow you to go ahead and have one letter that's very different from the other letters, but still flow because it's tethered through that uniformity and similarity into momentum flow. Now, just to backtrace a little bit, I had mentioned before about how her pieces conform to the background of her actual mural itself. This is something that you do see every now and again in murals. For example, my mentor's old crew and my good friend Soko, they were part of the crew called Walnuts, and they had this piece where you had all this snow, and the Statue of Liberty, if I remember correctly, had like its face and its arm breaching through the snow, and their pieces were pretty much doing the same. While having your graffiti interact with the background is becoming more prevalent nowadays, back then when they were doing that, it wasn't as popular. And this is something that Mad C does expertly. Having her piece actually recede into perspective, or having it on a piece of paper that a character in her piece is holding, or just having proper effects from the environment layer on top of her letters, all of this adds to the immersion that her graffiti gives you. And I don't think it can be understated that she has a really high knowledge of fine art, as we can see in any of her murals. There's this huge divide with graffiti artists where graffiti artists for some reason default to hating fine art, not realizing that they actually use a lot of fine art and they even know a little fine art in order to do their graffiti, and they just don't realize it. And I think we should give credit where credit's due. The time it takes in order to master graffiti to the extent that Mad C has mastered it, and the time it takes to master fine art to the extent that Mad C has mastered that as well, is no easy task. And just to think, she's mastered both of these to a higher degree than people who specialize in one or the other. Like, she's mastered fine art more than some fine artists. And she's mastered graffiti much more than most graffiti artists. So the fact that she's able to master both of those things to that high of a caliber is extremely impressive and very rare to see. And this is why I think she's underrated, because most graffiti artists, as previously stated, they default to either ignoring, not acknowledging, or disliking fine art on default. And they don't appreciate the amount of knowledge and skill it takes to do what she does. So although she's viewed as a legend, her work is easily some of the best in graffiti. Anyway, that's gonna bring us to today's video. If there's a specific graffiti artist that you'd like to see me analyze and break down the work of, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Also leave their Instagram as well, if you happen to know it. And for any of you guys that are new here, feel free to join the smartest graffiti community online. We have the best information, and if you want to make learning graffiti easy for yourself, this is the place to do it. As I said, you're not going to find better information about graffiti anywhere online. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.